Okay, today we are here to listen to all these three top producers in their respective agency on how they have made top bucks selling what projects. And coincidentally, all three of them focus on projects. We also will ask them why they choose projects as their main focus itself. Okay, and all three of them are actually younger than me. You see, if you I don't know whether you can see this. Can you see the print out here or not? The text I print very big because I got 老花. I have to print big to see. Okay. First is Andrew. I will introduce Andrew himself. Actually, Andrew, I mean, if you can see from his photo and everything, he's actually very young. I mean, less than 30, and yet he is actually consistently producing in PropNex itself. And he has won platinum awards in PropNex. And in PropNex, when you get platinum award, it actually means that you clock 100,000 or more. That means 6-figure commission for that particular month. And that is not an easy thing to do, especially for somebody who is just fresh out of school and then coming out. And the thing is, when he first started in the first 2 years, he doesn't have a car. I mean, when we all do property sales and all this, people always say, hey, you need to have a car, otherwise how are you going to go around and do all your sales? Correct or not? But he don't have. He go around using his bike. But of course, after that, when he focused on the projects, actually it make it easier because that is a like common meeting place. Now he do not need to run around the entire island itself. And he is actually a 2-time champion platinum achiever and a 3-time champion project salesperson in PropNex. And for Ryner, and one thing coincidentally, Ryner is actually my classmate in NUS. So you can see the vast difference in fortune. He is now the top producer. And you know last year how much he clocked in terms of sales? More than 1 million. And I think my earning for 2017, maybe not even 10% of his. So you can see you get the same amount of education, you get very different results in terms of earning. So whether 死读书, continue to study and everything, helps you make more money, is still a question mark. So maybe now the government focus on moving people towards a skills-based type of education is actually good for our future generation. And for right now, besides earning that 1 million in 2017, in May itself, he is actually the top 3 senior group division director, and he got the first position. And he's also the top 10 achievers overall in 9th position. And for him, do you know as a rookie salesperson, how much he earned in his first year? Anyone want to make a guess? Anyone? $700,000. Rookie salesperson earning $700,000. I mean, I don't know how many years I need to work to earn that amount of money, you know. But of course, he worked very hard. He clocked 16 hours a day to get this kind of commission. And I remember some people say, why people become a property agent? Because they are more in control of their time. Some say they have more free time. I think this is far from the truth. I see property agents more busy than those who are working full-time. Is that correct or not? Yes. Because so many things until you do until late at night itself. Imagine when government give out cooling measures. Worst thing, we work until 12 midnight, correct? Of course, the actual hours, when we finish all this, we cannot say that. Otherwise, government come after us. Okay? And then next is actually Tony. Of course, Tony from my company itself. But the thing, for these first two gentlemen here, focus more on local projects. Tony chose to focus on international projects. He's actually our top international sales champion, as well as our top producer in Huttons as well. So, see, we have such good candidates here for you to ask questions. But before you ask it, now I ask first. Okay? Now, the first thing is, some of them, I think Ryner here graduated with a degree in real estate, but the rest does not have a so-called real estate background. What makes you actually start off to be a real estate salesperson? Maybe Andrew, you want to share first?
Why I started in real estate is actually because I come from a very humble background where we had a lot of difficulty making ends meet when we were young. So when I grew up, right, I just looked for financial freedom. So I went to Forbes top 10, and then I see that actually the top 10 people there all have one thing in common, and that is property. So what happens to me is that I really want to find out more about property so that I can understand more about investments, to grow my assets, and eventually become probably not the top 10 richest people in the world, but along the same lines of them. So because of this, I went to property. I want to know more about property investments and things like this. And eventually, I founded property to be really suitable for me. Yes. So the short answer to your question was financial freedom.
Okay. Yeah. I think soon Andrew will be the most, or rather the richest salesperson in Singapore. He's still so young, you know. And Ryner?
Okay, why I started off this, I think it's quite similar to Andrew as well. I don't come from a well-to-do family. So what happened is then, during my poly times, I was quite fortunate, did quite well, so I was given scholarship to study in NUS. But after trying to work in the army for 6 years, I realized one thing. I realized that no matter how hard I work, say at that point in time I earned about approximately 5 to 6K as a young captain. So I used a very simple formula. 5 to 6K times 12 is about 70,000. So if I were to want to hit that 1 million mark, I would have to clock almost 15 to 20 years to hit a 1 million. So I would say that I come to a crossroad. I need to decide whether or not to continue in the mental prison. The mental prison means what? Means continue with what I'm comfortable with, getting that fixed pay job, but in a mental prison where I will not be able to get breakthrough in my income. Or have the faith, okay, have the faith, use that very energy to step out from that comfort zone and achieve financial freedom. So then I started to do some research to see in what industry possibly that such financial freedom come true. And of course, I come to two possible industry because Dan was in army. So either I go insurance or I go the real estate. And I choose the real estate and never turn back. So in very layman's terms, why I choose real estate compared to insurance? Very simply put, the macro picture just supported us to be in this real estate. Why is that so? You just have to ask yourself, say for example, in Chinese New Year time, when you go and visit your friends and relatives, generally speaking, they are very comfortable to ask you, hey, how much is my property valuation right now? How do you see the market? Where are the good hot spots for me to invest, etc. So people are generally quite forthcoming. But of course, you need to have a pleasant personality that people wanted to talk to you, correct? So that in itself already facilitated. And of course, for insurance, I choose not to go in. Simply put, you just have to ask yourself, if you tell a friend that you're an insurance agent, right? You got that resistant level. So sometimes they will, I call it in Hokkien, right? They siam you, right? So at that crossroad, I decided to go in. And last but not least, the most important is I'm very hungry. I'm very hungry to want to succeed. I'm very hungry to want to earn 1 million. So that's the very reason why I joined the real estate.
Okay, I think he made a very wise choice. From 17,000 to 700,000 in his first year. Okay, now Tony, how about you?
Hi everyone. I'm sure all of you have your own stories because you're already all real estate agents, right? So, but in short, for me, it was because in this business, the sky's the limit. You know, in my past job, it was only 5,000 a month, and I have to listen to the boss, even if I don't like him, I don't agree with him. Maybe I'm better than him, you know, but we can't outshine the boss. But here, really, the sky's the limit. As long as you put in the effort, you'll be compensated accordingly. And of course, the freedom, really the flexibility. Of course, there are times when we work very, very hard, but you know, there's so much free time that we can also have. So for example, watching a movie during the daytime when the cinema is not so packed, rather than during the weekend when it's so really crowded. And being able to attend your children's school functions in the middle of the week when everyone else is hard at work. You know, we are there for our family. And being able to travel anytime off season, you know, when everyone else must only go during the peak season, right? So all of you know the reasons. Those of you who may be thinking of maybe dropping out because this year you think it's going to be tougher, please don't, because really here, there's so much opportunity for everyone.
Okay, so the sky is the limit. No Air Force people here, right? So in sales, the sky is the limit. I mean, that's probably the reason why we choose to do sales rather than have a regular pay job as well. Now, of course, everybody also wants to know one thing is, what is your secret to success? Of course, this is the title of the panel discussion here. I mean, I don't want to hear hard work, okay? I want to hear some other things, that what actually makes you successful. And I think a lot of people also want to understand is, let's say in this digital age also, how are we leveraging on all these digital tools? How are we using all these to actually, say, get leads? Or how do we actually, from a cold lead, make it into a warm, hot lead, and then successfully converting them? Maybe Andrew, you start first.
That's a very good question. So how to get leads, right? For me, it's all about digital marketing, which is today's main segment here. So what I do, actually, the truth about myself is that, honestly, I work about 5 hours average per day. Okay, and the reason is that I do not do any traditional prospecting. So traditional prospecting can be flyer distribution, can be roadshow, can be door knocking and things like that. So those are the activities that I used to do, but I find that it's very hard to scale. For example, door knock, you want to scale, you want to get people to door knock for you, you need them to have license. You want to get telemarketers to call for you, you cannot monitor. You cannot monitor them whether they are really calling in that 3, 6, 10 hours. And when I hired a telemarketer for the first time, the third day, you know, he had some family problem. 6th day was MC. The last day he quit already. So there's a lot of challenges. So actually, just a quick recap. If today you go to NTUC, you go to the checkout, what do you see? You see a lot of counters, right? They are the self-service kiosks. So you can see that there are lesser and less cashier aunties really, or the cashiers, they are there to assist you. So this is where we are right now moving towards. It's a digital age. Robots are replacing humans, okay? And if we are actually not there doing this modern kind of prospecting method, right? We may be out, or we are likely to be out. So for me, I use digital marketing. Why? Because I am prospecting 24/7. So I use my time, 5 hours a day. Generally, I just meet clients. Okay, I meet clients. I don't do prospecting physically. That means using time, because online, let's say a website is there 24/7. If it's on Facebook, it's there. Everything is there. So one key thing that I just want to share will be the fact that if today we are still doing traditional prospecting, maybe, for example, I give you an example, roadshow. Now, if you do roadshow, Just imagine yourself, you're rushing home right now. Maybe your kids are crying, or you need to rush home for your parents, you need to attend to them, or anything, whatever, you need to rush home. Suddenly there's someone who stops you. Hey, got this new launch called XXX New Launch Condo. Yeah, do you want to hear more about it? Or whatever sales script that you have, no matter whatever sales script you have, your mind, right, is actually going home to settle whatever's home, or going to work, or whichever. This is all what we call disruptive prospecting. You are disrupting the person. So this person, right, or most of us today, what we prefer to do is that we prefer to do it at our own time. That means go home, settle the kids, settle the parents, settle your wife, your husband, whichever, whatever you need to settle. At night, right, before you sleep, okay, a lot of people, this habit, they take out the phone before they sleep. This is the general consumer behavior today. They will take out their phone, and then they will start to Google. Oh, just now that person told me about this project, right? Oh, yeah. So you start to Google and find a lot of information online, and then if he's keen, he's going to register on their website or call that person from this website. So this is where I'm online. So actually all the efforts and hard work that people are doing, right, in traditional prospecting are actually being brought to people who are doing online. So definitely, I 100% agree with what PropertyGuru is doing today, which is to promote digital marketing, which is very, very good, because it's what is happening today that works. Is the modern era, and it's already the future. So for me, getting leads, the short answer is I'm always online. I'm always online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Earlier, Chris said that knowledge 1, 2, 3 for him to talk to the buyers and engage the buyers so that they will stay loyal to him. How about you? How are you going to convert all these leads that you have into your loyal customers who will follow you to the projects and all this?
Probably the way I do my sales may be a little bit different because of the way I generate leads online. I will not be able to handle alone. Okay, so what I do is I have partners. I have partners who will assist me. So for example, Saturday, 1 p.m., I have 5 appointments. So I can't run 5 appointments, right? So I have 4 partners that run with me. So for me, it is a numbers game. To me, it's not really, I believe every agent is different. To me, it's the core of your business should be all about generating massive leads. Okay? If you can generate massive leads, right, it will become a number game whereby you will get many customers, and no matter what, you will close them. So for me, if you ask me more of the soft skills, right, like how you make them loyal to me, yes, there's some soft skills involved, but to me, I look at it as a number game. So last year, I clocked in more than 2 million. It's actually from this model that I'm using, which working about 5 hours per day, because I have a system. So it's important when we go overseas, right? Or we go and attend whatever courses, we are always afraid of one thing. What is the one thing? The one thing is, we are afraid that when we are not physically there, our sales will be affected. So whatever system that you create, right, it must consistently 24/7 generate leads. And to me, I believe right now the most powerful method is digital marketing, because you are prospecting 24/7. Yes. So yeah, so that's my answer.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. So you have here somebody who leveraged a lot on digital marketing, such that the whole system works for him even when he's sleeping.
Yes.
Good or not? No response. This is fantastic, man. The worst thing that can happen to an agent is that you are not contactable when your leads call you. Right or not? Because the leads will go to another agent. So, Ryner, how about you?
Okay, for myself, regarding the leads generations, it is really very important, I would say. Very, very important. If you really want to have breakthrough, right? At this point in time, you must embrace technology. Okay? Embrace technology. Because currently technology, right? Say for instance, you might be going holidays, or you might be busy with something else, or you might be watching a nice movie at this point in time. With technology, and especially say for instance Google, Say now you think about Park Colonial. You think about Sterling Residences. What is the first thing you think about it? Google, right? You key into the keywords, Sterling Residences. And the amazing part is you need to be in this game. How do you be in this game? At least number one, you need to be aware. And number two, you need to attend trainings. Of course, there's two parts to the story. Number one, you can do it DIY. DIY is do it yourself, or you engage a third party to do it for you. But leads generation, to me, yes, while it is very important, you mustn't neglect the other 5 stages. What are the other 5 stages? Once you've gotten the leads, right, you must have the ability, okay, to make appointment. You must have a pleasant personality to make appointment. And to make the appointment, you need to be able to do an impactful presentation. Like what Christian mentioned earlier on, right? If we are still the level 1 category agent who only shares about, oh, this is the bedroom, that is the toilet, that one, the hard truth is passé already. It works in a very good market when no persuasion is needed. Okay, just hot market, they come in, they buy. But the level 2 is more important. The level 2 in terms of presentation, how are you able to make your impactful presentation address all their problems? As a successful top achievers, right, you need to be able to solve their problems. What are the possible problems? There are plenty. Due to the interest of time, we should not be discussing here. But generally speaking, remember, leads generation, very important. Make appointment, followed by making an impactful presentation. And through that presentation, right, do remember one thing. Do not just talk and talk and talk and talk. In between, you should sieve out intelligence, important intelligence. Why? Because you need to know what is their problem. Because once you're able to know what is their problem, say hypothetically speaking, through that very short conversation you qualify, right? You realize that they are actually a Singaporean married couple and their existing property is already fully paid. Say for instance, in a very short conversation, you already know these tips. You're already at the back of your mind as a level 2 agent, right, or level 3 agents, you already think about decoupling. You already know inside out how to do all this important, we call it level 2 solutioning. So when you have that impactful presentation, after the impactful presentation is where you solve their problem. I call it handling the objections. What are the possible objections? The price too expensive? Possible. I need to pay ABSD? Possible. But because you're a level 2 agent, you help them to see from an angle that how the decoupling actually helped them save a lot of money. At the same time, remember, they always look at that paradigm that price is the most important issue. Say, for example, 1.2 million property. But what if you are being trained from the financial angle to communicate in a way that the cash flow works for them? Talking in terms of cash flow. Say, for instance, if I were to tell you, you as a client, hey, buyer, let me show you. For 1.2 million property, right, every month you're paying only $300 per month. At the same time, when you buy this property, right, immediately, I'm able to help you with a total savings of 120,000. When you say this, right, you support with a fact. You support with a fact on the spot. But how are you able to do so? You need to stay open-minded. You need to stay open-minded to attend training. But of course, attending training is not enough because Lee Ka-shin says, 学以致用. Once you attend the training, you applied it. So going back again, leads generation, is it important? Yes, important. Step 2, make appointments. Step 3, impactful presentation. Step 4, handling objections. And that's where the handling objection, remember, by the short conversation, you are a different pre-agent. You already show them price is not a problem because you're going into the angle of cash flow. You already solved their problem about the ABSD because by doing decoupling, right, don't need to pay ABSD. You actually save substantially. And you tell them that you're going to do one stop for them. And you confidently able to do one stop for them. But of course, the decouple fish is only one part of the story. There's too many things that all of you, if you want to aspire to be a top achievers, right? Yes, the hard truth is you need to learn all this and you need to apply all this. But once you do the handling objection, that is where the last mile, you do what? You do the closings. But most important, I want to share with you, if you can't do the closing, right, never give up. Because why? You already have had good rapport with the client. So make sure that you keep the rapport, follow up. And if you are able to do all these few stages well, right, sky is your limit. You just have to make sure that you continue to stay open-minded, okay? Don't get arrogant, and the next thing you know, you achieve a financial dream. So generally, it's how you get it.
So here we have on Ryner, 5 steps. Do you all still remember 5 steps or not? I think all here forget, right? Must apply. And one thing you keep hearing from him is the present. I mean, the present personality and all this to engage with the client also. How about you, Tony?
Okay, what I've been sharing with my district members for the past years, my secret actually is not difficult, that actually many can emulate as well. Okay, there's only 3 main ingredients. Okay, the least most important is doing sales. This may come as a surprise to you because we are all salespeople. But nowadays, there's a lot of tools that can help you. In fact, for example, in Huttons, we have FOC tagging. I'm sure in all your companies now you have. So the SME, or what I call subject matter expertise, are already there. Those who have the 3 levels of knowledge, they know the project inside out. They can tag for you, they have all the knowledge. Okay, so our main job basically is to help the client do solutioning. For example, decoupling, refinancing, 99-1, trust, things like that, you know. But more important than the sales element to me, okay, personally, I find is marketing. Marketing, because if you have no leads, you can forget about doing any sales. I'm sure a lot of you agree. And that's why we are putting lots of money into PropertyGuru, right, to do the marketing to get leads. Okay, I'll cover a bit more on the marketing later on, but the number 1 ingredient that I find a lot of agents are lacking, those who don't seem to do well, basically is the mindset. The mindset. Of course, you may think, yeah, this is all BS, you know, because you always hear it all the time. But I believe so, okay, because that's the reason why I chose to focus. This word you hear many times again, over and over again, right? Focus. I focus on international projects. When people ask me to do HDB, I don't. I pass it to other people. This is what I mean by focus. How many of you can do that? Because I'm sure when someone asks you, hey, come and help me sell this, sell that, or help me rent this, rent that, you will definitely get involved, right? There's no right or no wrong, but for me, focus has been the key. And I chose to focus on a segment that has less competition. Because you can tell I'm older, right? I don't have as much energy as the young people. Okay, so when you see all the balloting for unit selection, I'm not there. I'm normally not there. I'm at home closing deal with my overseas clients. So I managed to, using our system, reach out to clients in China, in Hong Kong, in London, even as far as I have a client in Yemen, okay, who was a bulk purchaser. Okay, so I'm happy to say that I've groomed some of our, in my team, top producers who also manage this skill to be able to, just like Andrew, okay, be open for business 24/7. Okay, this is very important because some of the agents I know, they are afraid to go overseas for holiday. They say, every time I go overseas, my client will walk in and buy. Oh, siao liao, right? But with me, it's never an issue, okay? Because even when I'm overseas, I can close deal through WhatsApp, through email. Okay, so this is a very, very powerful skill and a very, very powerful system to have. Okay, if I have some time, maybe talk about the marketing aspect as well. I think all of you really should embrace the digital technology, which I am sure all the producers here have shared with you also. So being online is very, very important. We are in an information age where everyone is looking for information. A lot more people nowadays prefer to have information beforehand. And if you're able to provide enough information, whether it's through email templates or WhatsApp templates or through your website, through videos, a lot of things that you can be doing. Okay, why they should buy now, why they should buy this project rather than other projects. Maybe by the time you meet them, they are 80% convinced. 80%. So by the time you speak to them, maybe in fact you've already sold them the unit through WhatsApp messaging. Okay, so this is a system that I have in place, which is very, very exciting. And also, like as what Andrew said, you can reach out to a lot more people with the same effort rather than, you know, a conventional method of one-to-one. I really believe in that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. So here we have the one thing they have in common is not just marketing projects. It's also leveraging on technology. They are there 24/7 for their clients. Information is always there. So they all have a proven system. And this is a proven system that every one of us should actually learn to leverage on. And I think PropertyGuru is actually one platform for us to do this kind of digital marketing as well, besides your traditional social media. I think we still have a bit of time. Do we have any questions from the floor? Or you all want me to continue to talk only? Then you all don't need to talk, just here. Sit there very comfortable. I'm sure you all have burning questions to ask also, besides the 2 or 3 questions that I asked them. Come on, agent, boy, paiseh one. Paiseh, you all won't get anything, you know. Anyone? Or I share something first. Before I came, I was actually doing so-called agent briefing on the cooling measures also, to share with them all the different opportunities and stuff. And then also another thing I was telling agents, many years back, I think it is 7 or 8 years already, when I was doing office and industrial leasing. The first advice my senior gave me was, as a broker, as an agent, you are not a tour guide. How many of you or how many of us fall into that trap that when we do project sales or when we do resale, we bring the client to the house and whatever, show them, oh, this is the living room, this is the bedroom, this is the toilet bowl. How many of us do that? I mean, all these are very simple things that our clients can see for themselves. But what is so fantastic or special about this particular area that you need to highlight to them? So like what Chris said, you have your level 1 knowledge, very basic info. If you just stay at level 1, you'll forever be a tour guide. And you will be wasting a lot of your time. Because you will swing your buyer from one project, one resale property to another, and cannot close. And like what they say, focus, be very focused also. You must already know your buyer inside out and what is the best solution for them. Which property actually fits their needs. So that when you bring them there, they already have you already have the solution in mind for them. I talk so long already. Anyone?
Perhaps for the benefit of the call, could I just understand on the respective producers? You mentioned about marketing, you mentioned about project costs and all these things. So at your level, let's say, how much are you committing on a monthly basis to plug in the sales that you're doing? And perhaps for a newbie coming into project marketing, like some of us, what would be your advice?
So he's asking how much we are spending each month on our digital marketing efforts.
Okay, playing the digital game, right? We need to first of all know ourselves. Because number one, I want to tell you the hard truth. The digital game is not cheap. Not cheap. Not cheap. All right? So there's 2 parts. Number one is leads generation is very important, right? And if leads generation is important, if you are under that fortunate category of having deep pocket, you can immediately go into, we call it a PPC, pay-per-click Google. Either do it DIY yourself or get a third-party vendor to do it for you. To answer your short question is, how expensive it is depending on how aggressive you are. But generally speaking, 5-digit a month is a not uncommon thing to see that. 5-digit a month, and next thing you know that the credit card company will go to your pocket. So what does that mean? It means that even if you're very good in your leads generation, but if you are very weak in your conversion, you're actually throwing away all your monies because you're fighting against all the experienced person who are able to convert the leads. Imagine for party A who is able to do the conversion well, remember you need level 2, level 3 Kung Fu. You need to make sure you master your financial literacy well to be able to convert. Because once you're able to convert, you can stay in the game longer. And it's just success breeds success. You get better, you earn more. So going back to your the earlier question about how newbie gets started. Newbie, don't lose heart. Remember, I also don't come from a very rich family. I come from a very humble family. So how get started? tell you frankly, roadshow still works. Depending on what kind of project you're marketing. Say for instance, if you're marketing a project that is about 1 to 1.5 million. Remember earlier we have one speaker that shows you about the research. Winston, right? Said Winston. He already shows you the research. Anything that's within 1 to 1.5 million, the research shows that there's a big pool of buyers. What you need to do is, you have to make sure that you use your effort base. Effort base. Remember when I first started off, my first year in Salvios, I actually do only roadshow. My very first project is Archipelago. I do roadshow in 2 areas only. Bedok Reservoir Park. Any Salvios guy here? Okay, can't see. If all those early Salvios guys will probably know me, okay, at that point in time. I do in Bedok Reservoir and also Bedok. I get all the leads. By getting all the leads, effort-based, the good news is don't need money. But once you are able to do that conversion well, by doing the level 2, level 3 literacy, okay, showing that in terms of cash flow, solving a problem, you qualify, etc., that is where you start to earn big money. Why big money? Because crisis can also be opportunity. At the point in time when I joined, it's 2011 October. I remember 2011 December, first set of cooling measures. That is where developer raised comp for Archipelago. That's where I earned my first 700K there and never turned back. So, being a newbie is important. You balance your profit. Make sure you do effort-based, do your conversion well, attend all the training, apply rates, and subsequently make sure you always have this mentality of throwing 20 to 30% of whatever earnings backs into this current, we call it very competitive landscape environment, which is to embrace technology. And you can do it progressively. Maybe not aggressively 10K per month. You can start with, say, 1K per month first, depending on what projects you're marketing. So I hope I answer the audience question. Does that, do I answer your question? Yeah.
Anyone have other questions? If not, we will have to thank our panelists. So remember, as salesperson, getting leads is very important. Because without leads, we will not have sales. But after that comes the hard part, which is converting your leads to actual sales. And remember, last of all, leverage on digital technology. Otherwise, we only have limited number of hours a day. We will never be able to handle all our inquiries. Thank you, everyone.